This episode of Building Inclusion was recorded on the lands of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across Australia. I acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which this podcast is recorded and listened to, and I pay my respects to elders past and present. I'm Sam Drummond, lawyer, writer and disability advocate, and you're listening to Building Inclusion, a podcast about Australia's disability strategy, presented by Powered Media. First introduced in 2010 and renewed in 2021, Australia's disability strategy is a national roadmap guiding governments, businesses and communities to work together to build a more inclusive Australia. At its heart, the strategy exists to ensure people with disability can fully participate in Australian life with equal rights, real opportunity and respect. This episode, we're focusing on employment, where the strategy aims to support people to find and keep real jobs. Employment is about far more than a job. It's about independence, financial security, purpose, dignity, belonging. We'll explore what inclusive employment can look like when it's done well. To do that, I travelled to the Blue Mountains, surrounded by some of the most breathtaking scenery you can imagine. Bush stretched out around me, wild and cinematic. I pulled up outside an old villa, birds calling from the trees, as if welcoming me in. Walking into Hotel Etico felt like stepping back in time, a grand space that once might have only opened its doors to royalty. But waiting inside were Andrea and Quinn, ready to show me something far more powerful. What employment looks like when inclusion isn't just an afterthought, but the foundation.
Hello.
Hi, you must be Andrea.
I am. I'm certainly
Sam.
am.
How
Very
you
good
doing?
to meet you, Sam.
Pleased to meet you.
Very good to meet you.
What a place you've got here.
Beautiful, eh?
Can you show me around?
Yes, absolutely. Please come in.
All right. The hotel is closed, quiet and still, but you can almost hear it. The hum of conversation, glasses clinking, people gathered around tables sharing hearty meals and stories.
So the building was built by John Fairfax of the Fairfax family in 1876. So I think next year will be 150 years. Through the century, it was used as a hotel, as a guest house, as a school. And then 5 years ago, we took it on as a lease to establish Hotel Etico, which is Australia's first social enterprise hotel here in Australia. We're based on an Italian model and we've adapted it to the local context. And what we do is employ and train young men and women with disability, and we train them in hospitality and independent living skills, and then help them find further employment in the tourism and hospitality industry. And yeah, we've been here for 5 years and it's a beautiful, beautiful place.
You can really feel the old architecture and the old feel come in.
Absolutely.
It looks like you've done a lot of work to preserve that.
Yes, we were very lucky to take it on from a landlord who did a beautiful job at preserving the feel of the history.
Andrea Comastri is the CEO and co-founder of Hotel Etico. He was born in Spoleto, in Italy, and migrated to Australia in 1995. He is passionate about social impact, including supporting people with disability to live their best lives.
Well, I'll walk you through the rest of the building. We're walking to the restaurant. Our restaurant is dedicated to the first trainee in Italy. His name is Nicolò, and he's a young man with Down syndrome who started the entire movement. So he approached a chef by the name of Chef Antonio and asked for a job, and then expressed his dream of working eventually in a hotel. And Antonio and Nicolò just started this movement that sort of is now unstoppable. In Italy, there are now 6 hotels with the name of Hotel Etico, or Albergo Etico, with using the Italian word. And we adapted it to the local context, and we're really lucky to find this place.
The hotel employs groups of 15 adults with disability at a time on a 1-year residential training and work program.
The most beautiful thing is witnessing the conversations and the interactions that happen between our trainees and the general public, because that's where the inclusion happens, that's where the exchange happens, and there's a lot of barriers that get knocked down. There's a lot of interactions. The trainees themselves become the change agent to change perspectives about disability. And this is where it all happens. And then there's two, on this left wing of the hotel, there's 2 apartments that are dedicated to the trainees. So they live there. And that's one of the unique elements of the program. The trainees, we call them trainees because they're part of a training program, but they're employees for all intents and purposes.
Trainees live at Hotel Etico for 12 months. While the program runs, employees learn transferable skills that apply to life and work.
We talk about the hotel as a big home, the big house. And so whatever you learn at home and whatever you learn at work is perfectly transferable. So you learn how to make a bed, you learn how to clean, how to cook, how to shop, how to interact with others, and that transferred to work and vice versa. And then at the end of the 12 months, they graduate formally. We have a big event, big function, and they graduate from our program, and we help them find employment in the tourism and hospitality industries.
So far, 53 people have participated in training, with 42 graduates. 34 of them have been employed in the hospitality industry after completing the program.
One of our key element of our success is that we partner very deeply with the tourism and hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants, other venues, businesses, and we ensure that they can offer jobs and prospects of careers within their establishments. And they learn in a very experiential way, very hands-on, very, making mistakes, learning by doing. And then we work with the employers to build their capacity to work with people with disability. So we work both on the supply side, but also on the demand side. And that matching secures employment, secures opening of barriers, and really a society that is more inclusive. But in Australia, I think we've sort of hit it right on the head in terms of maximising the opportunity that the NDIS provides and the desire to employ people with disability.
And your employees have a full wage from day one?
Absolutely, yes. They're paid full award wages from day one under the Hospitality Award. And they work and train while they're here. There's not one day that they're not paid from day one. So it's a great experience. And we train them. And we train them with a combination of hospitality stuff, disability support stuff.
How are you making sure that that's sustainable? I think there's been a lot of discussion around the supported wages and disability enterprises around the country and the future of the industry.
It's very tough. It's a very difficult, we've chosen every possible difficult bit to be part of our business. We are a charity, we are not-for-profit, we are a registered social enterprise and a registered NDIS provider.
And is the sort of inclusion that you're going for, the idea that somebody can walk in here for a meal and not know that this is a place for disability employment?
I sort of quite enjoy surprising people sometimes. Some disabilities are not visible. So it also takes a little bit of time for people to realise what they walked into. But ultimately, they want to receive a service for which they want to come back, and so the quality needs to be there. But there's a certain organic sort of attitude of everyone that sort of once they realise where they are, they just. I wouldn't say they're more forgiving, but them sort of it humanises the experience. Nowadays, when you go into a hotel, you tend to receive very similar service everywhere. Like you expect, high quality standards, all the same, blah blah blah. You complain if that doesn't happen. Here, there's a certain familiarity and there's a human element to it, which is really the way it should be. And that's what we try and influence our hotel partners to do as well. To bring it down to human level, because that's what the community should be like.
Should we go down to the grass and perhaps find a spot to have a chat to Quinn?
Yeah, sure.
Quinn Jones is 23 and has finished his hospitality training at Hotel Etico. Hi Quinn, I'm Sam.
Nice to meet you, Sam.
Should we have a seat and
Of course.
have a chat? When you first walked in here, had you ever done any cooking?
No, I hated cooking. I really hated cooking. I thought it was messy. I thought it took forever, and then I would just eat the food in like 30 seconds, and I spent an hour cooking that, and I ate it in like 30 seconds. But also, when I first started in this kitchen, the chef at the time said, "Do you like cooking?" And I said, "No." And he says, "I'll change that." And he did change that. I loved cooking after that.
What a promise. So what was your employment journey before this? Had you applied for jobs?
I think I started when I was 16, but I wasn't working. I was doing volunteer work, just for experience. I started doing volunteer work. I started helping people clean, and then out of nowhere, I got this chance to come to Hotel Etico. So I had really no experience, but the jobs I did have, I struggled with. But coming to Hotel Etico was completely luck, just out of nowhere. I think I was the very first application.
Quinn is autistic and has a learning disability. So when you walked in here, this was your home, your new home, your employment, your social circles for at least a year. What did that feel like?
At the start, horrible, because this place was the opposite of me at the time. I was very shy, and I had never worked in hospitality before, and so it was very nerve-wracking, but also it was a chance for a change in my life, an improvement. And so even though I was very nervous, it was, to be honest, I was very motivated to come here every day, and I tried my absolute best in everything I did. And after about the first week, all of that nervousness went away, because I learned that this place is very easygoing, and the people were really fun and were like friends to me. So in the end, I was nervous at the start, but very quickly this became like a second home, you know?
That's nice. Sometimes people with disabilities are subject to this soft bigotry of really low expectations, that idea that you can't do something difficult and so people expect less of you. Did they expect less of you, or were things quite hard?
The staff were so motivated to help and to teach, it did not feel like that. At that time, it felt like they were motivated to teach me, especially since I was one of the first. They wanted me to succeed, and they wanted me to improve. So I didn't feel anything like that. It was more of like we were working together to improve my skills.
What was the feeling like when you graduated from Hotel Etico?
I wanted to push my skills to the next level every time I came here. And I wanted to improve and improve and improve, and I was addicted to learning. And when I came to my graduation, it felt like I could basically succeed my learning of here to my next job. It felt like a graduation, but it wasn't meaning that I'm done learning. It meant that I'm just ready for the next level of learning. And so I was so happy, and a few people cried.
Are there skills that you learned here that you've been able to apply outside work, like in social settings, or when you're in your own home, just cleaning up or anything like that?
I've learnt so much from this place, but I would say the two most important things I've learnt is I've learned how to learn, and I've learned how to push myself. And confidence. Actually, that's a third thing. I've learned confidence, and that confidence has helped me improve my learning. And just learning how to learn, just knowing what I struggle in, and knowing how I'm different to other people. There'll be people trying to teach me something, and I just don't understand. But I know that there's a way to learn this. And from my experience here, I'm able to sort of use the techniques that I've learned here to sort of translate what some people are telling me, and it helps me more easily learn.
What advice would you have for other people with disability who might not have that confidence, they haven't found that passion yet, and struggling to get a job, is there anything that you would say to them?
When I think back to how I was, it was one day my life was just really horrible and nothing was great and nothing was good. And when I saw Etico, when I saw an opportunity, I thought to myself, if I want to turn my life around, I should do this and do it to the absolute limit. And I would say to my past self is just, if you do something, do it to your absolute limit. Try your absolute best. Because even if you don't think you can do it, you won't know until you try. And only by pushing yourself to do something, even if you have no passion. To me, passion doesn't mean much. It's about learning through process. And the things I learned created passion. And so by pushing myself to learn Hotel Etico, it created these passions.
Fantastic. Well, Quinn, thanks very much for having me at Etico. It's just been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
I hope you can cook for me one day.
Always invited.
I headed to Darwin to visit YouthWorX, a program that helps young people with disability gain work experience and skills to prepare them for meaningful employment. Young people were heading off to a variety of jobs across Darwin, learning and contributing in real workplaces. I felt lucky to spend a few minutes with them and hear their stories. This was inclusion in action. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, how you going?
I'm Sam.
Hi, nice to meet you, Sam.
This is YouthWorX.
This is YouthWorX.
Cool.
And you're here to meet Caitlin as well.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Out the back. Hi, Caitlin. I'm Sam.
Hi Sam, I'm Caitlin. Nice to meet you.
How are you going?
I'm good, thank you.
Can you show me around?
Yeah, sure. This is the front of the house, pretty
Yep.
much.
Caitlin is a young person with disability from Darwin.
YouthWorX banner here, and then around here we have the hangout area.
Cool. And should we come in here?
Yes.
All right. So how long have you been at YouthWorX?
I've been at YouthWorX since the start of this year, pretty much.
Yep.
I just joined YouthWorX for volunteering, workshops, and trying to make some new friends, get out of home. It's been very good for me. And I've been a bit stressed since leaving school because I didn't know what I was going to do. I still don't know what I'm going to do, but I have hopes to become a barista.
So what sort of opportunities has YouthWorX offered you?
Well, they've offered me life skills, workplace skills, different opportunities, like places where I could hang out for free, and I've been learning about budgeting, finance, money stuff, and employment opportunities. We've been going to industry tours, workplace, learning about workplace skills, for example, how to act in a workplace, what you're responsible for, what an employee or employer is, and that's pretty much it.
Caitlin has been passionate about the cafe industry since year 10. From that early interest, she set her sights on becoming a barista and was even able to complete a barista course while still at school, putting her skills into action.
But unfortunately, I had a car accident in the middle of it. But luckily, I was able to finish all my coffees after I recovered from my accident.
What about the other life skills, say going through to the back of YouthWorX, there's some renovations going on and they're setting up a kitchen and a space to just sit and hang out. It seems like YouthWorX isn't just about employment, but about broader life skills that you can, do your everyday business, like cooking, cleaning, all that stuff. Are there some things that you've learnt that you take home and do every day?
Pretty much. I've actually learnt how to cook here. YouthWorX has opened my mind to broaden my cooking and life skills. I actually brought a few of those tips home. I've learnt how to cut up a salad, and then I've cooked chicken before. I've even made fried rice. It's just helped me improve my skills and being able to feel comfortable around cooking.
At YouthWorX, programs like these are not just about learning a specific skill. They're building confidence in everyday life. For participants like Caitlin, she feels her confidence carries beyond the program, changing the way she navigates the world, interacts with others, and approaches everyday situations outside of YouthWorX.
Are there particular adjustments that you need to do work? Say, when you become a barista, are you going to ask for, I don't know, flexible working hours, or is there something an employer needs to know when they employ you that might make it easier to do the job?
It would. I would need a few breaks in between shifts, and yes, flexible working shifts would be acceptable, and a few breaks. I get really tired when I stand on my feet for too long. I just need those breaks. Yeah.
Is there a secret that all employers should know to make sure that everyone feels they belong?
Well, that's a hard question. Well, I would say they should not judge a book by its cover.
I think that's a good lesson. Caitlin, I need to let you get on with your work today, but all the best. And I want to come back here in 5 years' time and order a coffee from you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
After spending time with Caitlin, I spoke with Tanya Pederick, Program Coordinator, to get her perspective on the program.
Tanya, thanks for having us at YouthWorX. How long have you been here?
I have been here for 7 years.
And what do you see as the major challenges for people with disability looking for work in Darwin?
I think just people having an open mind and being open to accepting someone who may have a few differences to the rest of the team, but just accepting that everyone has their differences and that shouldn't actually be a problem. I think it's just being accepted for who they are. Then having an open mind, yeah.
And are there some adjustments that the people here ask for or are required to do a job that are really easy to implement for employers?
Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of our young people can't take too many instructions all at one time. So that's one of the biggest things we do when we put young people into employment, or even just right from the start at work experience, is just asking them how they want to learn.
So Caitlin's gone off this morning to run a grocery program with cheaper groceries than you'd find in the other supermarkets.
Yep.
What is that the main activity that YouthWorX is doing, or are there other programs as well that you're?
No, so that food bank activity, volunteering activity, is just one of many activities that we bring into our programs. So the program that Caitlin is in called Encompass, and it's for young people with a disability with an NDIS plan. And then we have another program which almost mirrors it, but very similar, for young people without an NDIS plan. But majority of all our programs here run very similar to the same formula. So we do coaching one-on-one, which helps them set their goals, their aspirations, tell us about what they want to do, what they want to achieve, and we work with them to build steps into there and help them move towards their goals. Then we have our workshops, which run once a week, and those workshops are around skill building, independence, life skills, adulting, everything that they need to know to be an independent young adult in the big wide world.
At YouthWorX, the focus isn't just on gaining work experience, it's also on building work readiness skills. Participants practice mock interviews, writing cover letters, presenting themselves confidently, and learning about body language and first impressions. The program helps young people get used to workplace behaviours, so by the time they step into a new job, they're work ready. This is complemented by coaching sessions, workshops, and volunteering opportunities.
So going to places like Food Bank, St Vinny's, RSPCA, we help out a lot of the local festivals when they need help setting up events and things like that. And we find that helps with building those work skills. So like team building, communication, work ethic, just understanding what it means to be at work and being supervised, that kind of thing.
That seems to be a really important lesson, that sometimes we think certain industries are the ones to go to for people with disability, but then you're listening to a young person and listening to his interests and saying, well, maybe this would work instead.
Yeah.
Does that happen organically, or you've got measures around?
It sort of does, yeah. It's sort of, we're always open to, we want young people to come here and be able to follow their dreams and their goals. If they've had a passion for something, let's give it a go. And we never tell somebody they can't do something. If they want to try it, we will help them try it. So we talk to the community, we talk to the industry about what areas they're needing people trained up to be, and then we will then create a program, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, to address that need. Yeah.
When you're working so closely with industry and other employers, have you seen a shift in community attitude while you've been here?
Yeah, absolutely. It was quite challenging at the start to find employers that would take people on to do work experience. And being a small community, everyone knows each other as well. So that's actually works in our benefit, because then they can say, oh yeah, no, we had somebody and it went really well. Or they might talk at an industry event and, word starts to get around. And I think that we've built up a good reputation that when we do bring somebody in for work experience or employment, we support them all the way, right from the start and post as well. We don't just drop them and run.
Well, thanks for having me at YouthWorX and showing us a bit about what you're all about.
No worries, you're welcome. Thank you for coming.
I've just arrived in Hobart, Tasmania, and I'm here to meet Vaughn Bennison. Vaughn has had a long career in community broadcasting and leads me down the side of his house and straight into his pride and joy, a fully equipped recording studio tucked away in his backyard. We decided it's a perfect day to sit on his patio, soaking up the Tasmanian sun. I instantly regret not slathering on sunscreen. Hi, Vaughn.
Hi, Sam.
Thanks for having us.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
Come out.
We're going up the stairs.
Yep.
All right. Vaughn is blind and uses Braille to read.
When I was working full-time in broadcasting, I used to do a lot of live reads using Braille, reading magazine and newspaper articles, recording programs. One of my great joys is production and audio editing, audio production. Now I mostly use digital technology. So in my working life, technology is a must. And I'm also the chief technology person for the organisation that I work for.
Vaughn is the CEO of Disability Voices Tasmania, a cross-disability organisation building capacity of Tasmanians with disability to ensure their voices are heard by government and the broader community.
It's really important that we develop strategies, and strategies have in fact been developed, to make sure that people aren't left behind throughout this digital revolution.
Are you able to separate the person you are at work from the person you are at home?
My wife at the moment works as an executive with a major disability organisation, but has always been a disability advocate. So we struggle to not talk about work. The whole concept of not bringing work home for this family just doesn't exist. But it's what we enjoy and it's what we do. So I'm not suggesting we don't have a good work-life balance. We are each other's, in many respects we're each other's whiteboard. We throw ideas off each other and see what sticks and what have you, and we provide that level of support.
Emma Bennison, Vaughn's wife, is also blind. She's a nationally recognised disability rights leader and advocate who has worked for decades in the disability sector.
We have different variations of the same issues, and through our work and our home existence, we have very different expressions of the same issues. So, no, I think the answer to your question is that our home and work life is actually surprisingly similar. And disabled people who come into our house feel right at home because we are constantly talking about disability stuff and making jokes about disability stuff, and so it's very irreverent.
You've talked about leadership, and you have managed more than 100 people at one time. You're leading change, you're leading organisations. That's not always the reality for people with disability.
Mm.
How do you think we break that glass ceiling where people with disability move beyond entry-level jobs?
Well, you say move beyond entry-level jobs, and there's, as you sort of intimate, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of disabled people in entry-level jobs, but there's more disabled people who aren't at jobs at all. So really, what that's about is modelling. It's modelling on behalf of disabled people. So bringing people along with you as a leader, lifting other people, and giving them the skills they need and the confidence, more than skill, it's confidence they need to be able to develop their own style of leadership and their own career path. But it's also recognising that for some people, an entry-level job, as you put it, might be what they aspire to. That might be all they feel they can deal with. And I mean, as much as I would like to say to everybody, do better, always strive to be improving your situation. I remember what it was like to be in a position, when I first came out of university, I was unemployed for quite a long time, about 13 years.
During that time, Vaughn did contract work and trained in broadcasting and assistive technology. But it wasn't until 13 years after finishing university that he finally secured full-time work.
To this day, all I can do is thank the universe for what happened. I applied for a management level position at a radio station down here in Hobart, and you could have knocked me down with a feather when they actually gave me the position, because I'd had very small business management experience, and I'd had plenty of broadcasting experience, and of course I had my disability advocacy and disability life experience, but I didn't have any formal management experience. And when I did my interview, they said, is there anything else you want to talk about? And I don't disclose my disability before I go to job interviews. A lot of people do. I choose not to. A lot of people will say that if you disclose ahead of time when they see you, they're not confronted and they're not shocked. I don't care if they're confronted or shocked, because I am who I am and I'm proud of it, and I'm not going to make any excuses for it. So that's just my view. I don't expect others to hold that view. When I walk into a building and people see me with a guide dog or a cane or what have you, if they're shocked, so be it. Let's deal with that right then and there. Let's not give them the opportunity to exclude me from the process because they can't imagine how a blind person could, for example, manage a radio station. When I did the interview, I said to them after an hour of talking, I said, you realise I'm blind, right? And the president of the station actually said to me, and these were his words, yes, do you think that matters? And I couldn't answer the question. I don't usually get emotional about things, but I did that day, and I remember thinking, and I said to him, well, actually, I think it could be an advantage. I said, but as far as negative implications go, if you don't think it matters, then it doesn't. That was the first time I'd had that experience. Prior to that, my job interviews had always been about, oh, but how could you use a computer? How could you do this? How could you do that? And even though I could prove it, they still didn't believe it. They could, well, you can use your own computer because it's all set up for you, but you can't use ours because it's not set up for you. What happens, we've got stairs in our building, you might fall down. Well, how do you think I've managed all my life without using stairs? We have to meet people where they are. We have to meet other disabled people where they are and find out what really gets them going, what enthuses them, what sort of career path they envisage for themselves, and then start to work with them about how to get there. But more than that, we need non-disabled people to understand that employing disabled people is the best way to make sure that your products and services and your offerings, whatever they might be, are accessible and inclusive to all people and all disabled people. So it's, and when you think about the fact that as I said before, in Tasmania, about 26+% of people are disabled. It's an important step to take. And by making those positions available and making it very clear that you not only are open to the idea of employing disabled people, but that you actively want disabled people working for you so that your products and services can be better, then that will start to make an impact, and you will see more disabled people working in those environments. That will give those individuals better employment opportunities and better employment roles, and that will then model further developments and further inculcation of that throughout the community, both from the professional sector and from the disability community, because they will start to see organisations wanting their input, wanting them to be a part of that organisation. It's no longer okay just to exclude people on the basis that you can't imagine how they would do the job. So I think that's what I would say there. Get more disabled people into organisations through programs, through mentoring opportunities, and through just general, we want disabled people working for us so that we can make our products and services better. And then what will happen is the flow-on effect will then develop further out past the government sector, the non-government sector, into the private and business sector, and we will start to see significant change in the employment statistics for disabled people in this country.
You've been listening to the Building Inclusion episode on employment. From spending time in the Blue Mountains at Hotel Etico and heading across to Darwin to meet Caitlin at YouthWorX, this episode has taken us across the country to see what inclusive employment looks like in action. These conversations remind us that building inclusion isn't just about policy, it's about people. It's about opportunity, dignity, and creating workplaces where everybody belongs. This has been Building Inclusion, Australia's disability strategy podcast, hosted by me, Sam Drummond, presented by Powered Media, produced by Eliza Hull, recorded by Ascent Media. Thanks for listening.